Let's talk about anxiety. And because I'm such a master at having it and living in it, or I used to be, it's an easy thing to talk about from my own experience because I have a lot of experience with anxiety. So many people will talk about this in many different ways, and there's a lot of different things people can do to minimize anxiety, but I want to talk about getting rid of it completely because I don't have it anymore. And a lot of things like fear and anxiety, people will say that you can only manage, that you can't ever live without it. It's just something that you have to cope with or deal with or have practices around it to help it be more manageable. And I don't like that. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. Because in my experience, that's not true. So I just want to share what I have found, and maybe this will help you in some way. Hopefully it does. And it's midnight and I have way too much energy, so I thought I'd get on here and make a video. I should be in bed. I didn't know that I was anxious all the time until I wasn't. And years ago, I just decided to start meditating every day because I thought it was healthy. I wasn't trying to have a spiritual shift or awakening or go deep into yogic studies or any of that stuff. I just thought, meditation seems healthy. I'll give it a shot. So, I didn't do anything fancy. I sat still for 20 minutes and tried to be calm. That's what I did. And 1 month went by. That's it. And I went to this very large public concert with a ton of people with my wife at the time. And she noticed. I didn't even notice. She noticed I was completely chill and calm and acting normal and just not anxious. And she mentioned it. And that's when I noticed. Because she was surprised. She had never seen me like that. I was always hyper vigilant. I was always scanning the area for danger. I thought like an military man or someone who was fresh out of prison. Like I was just always scanning every person. Like, or do they look dangerous? Could they possibly have a weapon? Could this happen? What if this happened? If this part of the stage collapsed, could I have an exit? Like every part of my brain was always on hyper alert to danger that was not happening. Maybe sometimes I was correct in my assessments, but it was so overwhelming. And when it disappeared, I wasn't even aware of it. That's the craziest thing. Some of these things are so subtle. But then when I became aware, it was so obvious. It was shocking how different I felt and acted in public in settings that used to cause anxiety. So I was doing nothing else different in my life except meditation. So I blamed this loss of anxiety on meditation. But here's where the problem comes in hand. That was like an unconscious, unaware loss of anxiety, which is still good, but I didn't know what happened or how it happened. I had no knowledge of what happened. It just kind of seemed to happen on its own. So that was my first stage. My anxiety severely lessened or pretty much disappeared after a month of meditation, which is great. Honestly, that's great. Something in my brain chemistry probably actually changed. But fast forward a few months, 6 months, 7 months, there were still moments of anxiety. And when they hit me, I didn't know what to do or where they came from. I had no knowledge of anxiety. I had just lived in it for years, and then suddenly I didn't have it. So sometimes this happens with consciousness shifts. We shift into like a higher vibration, but then we don't actually have knowledge of how we got there. or what to do when we bounce back down or up or sideways. So it's nice, but it's actually not sustainable or really helpful. So life gave me more opportunities to feel anxiety and then to figure out what to do with it. So where the real growth happened was understanding exactly what anxiety is. And I don't mean conceptually or intellectually. Anybody can read a book about anxiety. I mean knowing it like it's your best friend. So I had a long enough time of not having it and not experiencing it. I wasn't living in it 24/7. So I was able to notice when it arose, when it came up in my body. I could then name it like, oh, I was feeling peace and now I'm kind of hyper alert and like fidgety and this is anxiety. I feel anxiety in my body. Now, this is where everything changed. Having less anxiety over time, it gave me enough peace and calm to be able to regulate myself in a way that when anxiety did come back up, I could actually feel it. I could feel into it, knowing that it wasn't going to last forever and that I was actually safe, although I didn't feel safe. So what I did was feel exactly what was happening in my body. Where do I feel anxiety? What's happening? My heart's beating faster, my chest feels tight, my shoulders are curving in, like my vision's starting to narrow, like every tiny little detail of what it felt like in my body, I became familiar with. Now this isn't comfortable or fun, but it's what changed it for me. So I didn't conquer or get rid of anxiety by trying to get rid of it. I actually don't have it anymore or struggle with it at all because I brought it into my house and we became best friends. And then after a while, I thought, I know you so well. I just want you to go be free and do whatever you want. And it left and it never came back. And that's how you transmute these things. You don't try to not have them or try to push them away or try to get rid of them. You feel into it and become more comfortable with it than anyone you've ever known or talked to in your life. You make the feeling of anxiety so close you can taste it. You can describe every tiny little sensation to the point that it's almost insane. Like you fully embody it. You get to know it. And the craziest thing happens is you don't have to do anything else. It's like whatever intelligence is running the body sees that you've put your attention there and just decides one day, all right, he's got it. We're good. We'll pack our things and go. So when I felt safe enough and calm enough that when anxiety hit my body and I was able to really feel into it, ask questions, get curious, analyze it through experience, not analyze it with my brain per se, but like really feel it. It went from being something that happened to me. I was unconsciously anxious all the time. And then I was unconsciously not anxious. And then I was barely conscious of what anxiety felt like because I noticed the difference between anxiety and peace. And then I became extremely aware and conscious of exactly what anxiety felt like. And then it took a hike. And it sounds weird and kind of easy. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's really uncomfortable sometimes. But I know a lot of people who want to fix it, including myself. I was one of them. I wanted to fix it. I wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to be free of it. But really what I was doing was pushing it away in fear. It's the absolute acceptance and letting it be and feeling 100% of it that is going to not even get rid of it, change it into peace. Because what is peace? the feeling of peace, it's the opposite. It's your body doing the complete opposite thing that anxiety does to your body. And when you see that it's the opposite side of the same coin, it's it's just laughable. It's laughable. It's so simple that God, it's annoying that it took me so long. You can't have one side of a coin. There's two sides. We live in a dualistic world. There's anxiety and there's peace. You can't have one without the other. You have to know both, because that's one allows you to know its opposite. That's how you know them. Oh, it's strange, but it works. And I'm not going to pretend like I know why or have all the answers or can write a book about it. I'm just sharing my real experience, because I went from living in it to experiencing it here and there to living in the opposite. I don't experience it all or live in anxiety anymore. I live in peace. But I recognize that the opposite of what I live in is what I used to live in. And I'm okay with it. And I accept it. And if it shows up back in my experience or in my body, I love it and I let it be there. Because I know it now. We're friends. We're not enemies. If you have an internal enemy like that, it grows. If you draw a line in the sand and you say, you're my enemy, the enemy needs to reinforce itself because suddenly there's a threat. So the enemy goes and finds more people and grows its army so it can actually fight you if you revolt against it. All this is happening internally. If you tell your enemy, hey, come inside, have some tea with me, not only will he be confused, but they'll get to know you, and then they'll realize there's nothing to fight. And if they're a warrior, they're just going to leave, because there's no purpose in being with you, because you're not going to fight them. They're going to go find a fight somewhere else. And this is how we take things internally and transmute them. The lead into gold. All the alchemy stuff. It's fun to read. Anyway, that's all for now. I should probably go to bed. Thanks for watching.